The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
Okay, well, look, we should kind of get on with the podcast. Good morning, everybody. If you noticed, and if you're tuning in, we got a little change in scenario today. I'm actually talking first in front of Constantine because he's not here.
That's right.
And playing host. My name is Michael Reventar, and to my left we have the infamous. You know, if you guys know him, and I know you have his poster at home on your wall, as I do, Dragon Vukicevic, yes. And we have a special guest, Sentinel alumni, and someone who we're really proud to actually call, a Sentinel who's moving on to Peel, Bruno. And I don't even know how to. I know you have more than one last name.
Yeah.
Okay, so
just Tomasine.
Tomasine.
The easiest one.
Oh, is that the one you use? Like, oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Like officially. Okay.
Officially, yeah.
Yeah,
just easier.
Okay, perfect. So hey, Bruno, if you can maybe move the mic and kind of get it under your mouth a little bit.
There you go.
It's kind of on a funny angle. It's all good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so welcome.
Thanks, Max. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so again, kind of why we're together today is we want to kind of just shed light on Bruno's time here at Sentinel and who he's been, because I mean, it's pretty fresh, right? It's been less than 2 or 3 weeks that you found. No, but I mean, it's been about 2 weeks since you found out that you're joining Peel Police.
It was actually 1.5 weeks.
Okay, so not even 2 weeks.
Not even 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So look, what did it feel like when you got the call? Because I know we'll kind of go into it, but it's been a long road from Brazil, home country Brazil.
Yes.
From Brazil to Peel. I mean, that's going to be the name of the podcast. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
what was? And sorry to cut you. And I know, Bruno, you and I spoke a lot about your journey and all that. So it's quite the journey, man.
Yeah.
It's been quite the distance you traveled.
It was interesting, yeah, for sure. It was not easy, but definitely rewarding.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what did it feel like when you first got the news?
The first feeling was relief. That's for sure.
That's a good answer.
The goal since I came from Brazil was to kind of get back to my career here.
Yes.
So when I heard from them, you got the job, relief was the first word for sure in my mind. It's like, wow, this is happening now. So
okay, so give us an idea. What did you do in Brazil?
I was a lieutenant in the army for the military police, and I was the commander of one of the operational platoons for my unit. So any high risk operations, we were the ones going for that.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. And were you based in a specific city and did travel throughout Brazil? How did that work?
We were based in Campo Grande. It's a city in the state of Mato Grosso do Sul in Brazil. But from there, I traveled pretty much almost all Brazil in operations. Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I do know, I don't know all the specifics, but you traveled, abroad with your team as well, right?
Yes, I went to a peacekeeping mission in Haiti for the United Nations, and we did a few things like in the border and in joint operations with South American countries as well.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Okay. So look, there's a lot there. We'll kind of go into it a bit at a time. I mean, I just, for Dragon and myself, we're just incredibly proud of just kind of seeing what your whole journey's been, right?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. I mean, even when you came in, I still remember on the front lines working with you that first time, and your attention to detail, and you obviously were a professional from the beginning, top to bottom, and I think that it's been 2 years? It's been just over 2 years?
Yeah,
okay.
A little more than 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, for you, does it feel like it went fast? Did it go slow?
Absolutely. No, super fast, actually. I can't quite believe that it's been 2 years and 4 months now in the company.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. And give me an idea, when you came to Canada, what was your expectation or the hope? Like when you came to Canada, look, I was born here. I mean, Dragon came from Serbia, so I mean, you can even speak on this too. Like, when you come to a new country to start a new life, like, what's that like? I can kind of picture like what it would be like, but it's obviously life in Canada is pretty different than Brazil.
It is. You imagine a lot of things. You imagine like having a better life, being more safe and everything. But even though you plan everything, when you get in here, everything just surprises you. You have to adapt fast, learn fast. I thought I knew some English. I studied on my own a little before I came. When I got in here, I realized, I actually don't know English. I can't order a coffee at Tim Hortons. So
really? Yeah.
Yeah, you have that feeling because now you're talking to a native speaker, not to another Brazilian talking to you. That's two very different things. So you realize that, okay, things are possible, but I gotta pace myself here. I gotta pick up my pace.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful dream, but to actually get that dream is not easy. There is a lot of work, hard work involved.
And what's kind of the dream? I love that word that you use. What's at the core of it? Is it there's a dream to leave maybe tough life in Brazil? Again, look, we can only go by what I know. All I know is Brazilians smile all the time. They're just right. They're just joyous, loving people. So the assumption is, look, that's how it is in Brazil. But then in the media, you hear like, oh man, there's some bad parts of Brazil and just violent crime and organized violent crime and like. So just curious, I'm like.
Mike, the way I always put it when people ask me about Brazil is like Brazil could be the best place in the world, but unfortunately it's not a safe place to live. If you want to raise a family, if you want to live an honest life, it's not so easy. Like a lot of things can put you down and you are always exposed. Mainly in the career that I had, and my wife as well, she was a firefighter, and I don't know how many times they had to call the police to defend them from helping others. They were trying to save somebody, and somebody else would show up to try to finish the job of killing the person or something.
For real, yeah.
So when you live in that kind of context, it's really difficult to imagine having a family and living there for the whole life. So mainly that's the reason why we left Brazil, and came here. And then, as you asked, getting here, we were looking for a safer life. And
so truly, it really is just to have a safer life.
Safer life with a better life quality, because here, because of the structure of the country, the currency, the economy, and everything, you can have that bigger acquisition power, for example, and a better life quality that we quite wouldn't have in Brazil, having the same profession, for example, or the same lifestyle we had in there.
So I guess you're right. Canada is safer.
It is for sure. It is.
What about you, Drag? I mean, I saying when you came to Canada with your family, was there a dream? Was it like? I'm just curious, like when, because I know Toronto, I know what Canada's like, and I know we have good kind of reputation internationally. Is it thought of like, let's go to Canada because it's safer? Is it a financial thing? Is it,
100%. It's for pursuit of a better life.
Yeah,
for sure. And we faced, similar limitations as what Bruno just mentioned. Hard life. There was even like war conflict back then. I came in the '90s, so it was even more of a culture shock for me because I didn't have social media or anything to compare to or what to expect.
To kind of get you ready for it, right?
Yeah, so there was no preparation for it. It was just maybe what you saw in the movies.
You have Rush Hour. You have Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I think similar stories, man, where people gravitate to first world, to countries like Canada, is for pursuit of a better opportunity, for a better life.
And I think that every time we consider moving abroad, like Canada has a very wide open doors for immigrants. So Canada facilitates a lot that process. So that also like catches our attention at these hours.
For sure.
Yeah. Would you say? I mean, we're going off from policing right now, but this is about the person, Bruno. Did the Canadians embrace you when you came here? Did you feel that there was a wall, or was it more just kind of your own inhibition, thinking about, okay, I just got to get better at ordering that coffee, or did and Canadians just, as a whole just didn't care? It's just like whatever, man. Like yeah, come. What do you want to get?
That is a first wall you have to break, in a sense that yes, we were welcomed in the country, but to actually be part of it, you got to show that you are willing to live in here the way the country is, with the cultures and the differences, the diversity and everything. So you got to respect the country.
Interesting.
You got to be willing to adapt.
Exactly. And then you have that respect back.
So is this why you guys both are wearing do-rags and wearing basketball jerseys? Is that why?
Exactly.
I saw the photos, man.
Hey, man, it's all part of a strategy. You know?
Yeah, take over, divide and conquer, right?
That's it.
Okay, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong though. Like since the first moment, you are welcome here. People welcome you well, and they are willing to help you. They have a lot of patience when you don't know the language. Like they really have patience with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, to grow in here, to actually structure yourself in here, establish yourself in here, then you have to give something back, and the country will embrace you on that. That's for sure. At least with us.
I love it. I mean, not every place in North America are they patient if someone is, an immigrant.
Yes.
I mean, there's even some down talk. I know it. I mean, both my parents are immigrants, so I saw as a kid the way that they were treated, and it's difficult sometimes to see because they're spoken to like they're idiots, right? And my dad's I know he's brilliant. He's this brilliant mind, but it was like, he's Filipino, so he knows English top to bottom. But even still, it would be kind of like baby talk to him, adult to adult. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of a little weird when you see that. You're just like, yeah. Okay, so now you're in Brazil. Give me an idea. Like this show is the Sentinel mindset. We explore the mentality. What does it take to do difficult things? And I remember, shout out to Lucas Lima, our boy Lucas, who now is also on Peel, and we were talking about him earlier. I remember Lucas telling me when he was working here that as all the training that he did doesn't compare to the training that you went through. Okay. And there's, again, and you would never say this because of your humility and it's not your style, but I'm putting you on the spot. Lucas basically said that, like, okay, Mike, there's the kind of people who go into military policing. This is kind of the training that we do. He showed me some videos and things, and he goes, but Bruno did a specific type of training at a specific city. And he says there's casualties, like in the training. There's like people die. There's live ammunition and explosives. And he said it's crazy. He goes, and he's like, Mike, if anyone could get through that training, they're a different person. They're a higher caliber.
It humbles you a lot because you realize that you are just another person trying to do something good, but it depends on other people to help you with that.
Yeah,
so you cannot do that alone.
What was that training? What was that known? I mean, like we know about like Hell Week and the Navy SEALs and stuff like that. Like, what was that training? What's it known as?
We call in Brazil tactical training.
Okay.
We have a lot of courses and specific trainings for specific things. We have the special operations training. We have the tactical actions training, tactical operations training, anti-riot training. So I've done a few of those. And each one of them is very specific for the type of operations you are going to. So the tactical training, for example, we go in deep in the, we call the favelas, like the poor communities. And we do a lot of operations in there on how to enter those places safely. And
how do you? So if you guys don't know favelas, how do you spell it so someone can search it?
It's Favela.
Yeah, and they're pretty, like, they're legendary.
Yeah.
Right?
Mainly in Rio de Janeiro are the biggest ones we have, but everywhere in Brazil we have those.
Yeah.
In my state, for sure, we had some. And it's just interesting how the cartels and the organized crime control those places, and the drugs and the crimes and everything that you face. Even in my neighborhood, growing up in Brazil, I've seen people dying in front of me, and all those things change you. They give you a different perspective on life that just makes you understand, okay, I have to do something, but I can't do it alone. And the training focuses a lot of that is teamwork. It's something we praise a lot here at Sentinel, is teamwork. You cannot do security alone. You need somebody to help you. So the training is very focused on that. It's very different from Lucas training, but the idea is pretty much the same.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Now, how do you train for that? For those threats? I mean, like, what's the mentality when you train? Because that's their neighborhood.
Yes.
Right. And it obviously has some control. You said cartel, the gangs that are there.
Yes. There are two phases in the training. So the first phase is the basic training. They push you to the exhaustion, physically and mentally. So that's the phase where most people give up on the training. They will quit. because they realize it's not for them, or they're not prepared enough. They prepare better, and come back and try again. I got to emphasize that it's just a different context from here. Okay, that's the context of Brazil. So you are pushed physically, you are harassed physically, mentally. You never do anything calmly. It's everything you do, someone else is screaming on you. It's beating your helmet with something, so you can be stressed out and you can be pushed and pushed and pushed. You have lack of sleep, lack of food, lack of water, heavy equipment. They give you 25, 30, 35 kilos of equipment.
This is sounds like how my mom raised me.
Yeah.
Right?
You know? and that's pretty much the first phase. Right?
Yeah, wow.
So the first phase is not so technical.
Yeah.
It's physical and mental. Mentally demanding, physically demanding, to the extreme. You have very, very early mornings, 5 a.m. You're already having physical training, and then you move to firearms training, then you move to fights training, then you move to some sort of technical training. And that goes from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., 9, 10, 11. Sometimes you have straight days, 48 hours training, 72 hours training. So that's the basic part. The second part, when they pretty much filter those that have the physical and mental conditioning, comes the tactical part. Then it's a lot more technical. So you drill skills and techniques a lot, all day long, non-stop. It's still physically demanding, mentally demanding, but now you have to be more careful because now you are dealing with real ammunition, tear gas, all those things, equipment. You have to use the equipment properly, so you drill things a lot to perfection. And again, you're pushed to the extreme. So once you get there, you finish the course, you finish the training, then the instructors and the unit know, okay, this guy is ready to be tested for real now. Then you have what they call a basic period in some unit in real operations. And then you finally get your spot, let's say.
Yeah,
And
you
can
win your
stay.
spot.
Yes,
basically.
you literally earn your spot.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
sounds intense type of training.
Yeah.
It is. I had 74 kilos when I finished my basic training. I'm not a big guy. I'm 85 kilos now. I was 11 kilos more,
Yeah.
So you lost about 11 kilos during the training. That's how
Yes.
physically demanding it was.
Yes. In the
Wow.
first 2 weeks, I lost about 8 kilos.
That's like what, 23, 24 pounds?
Yeah, almost 25 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So it's very, very demanding, draining,
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. It definitely weans out.
But that's the thing. When you finish, it's extremely rewarding because
Of
you
course.
tell yourself, yes, I got it. I did it. Right.
Yeah, I accomplished something
I
that's
accomplished. You have that feeling in yourself, and that's an amazing feeling to have.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things that no one can take from you, right? Because like
Yes.
your next weakest moment, which might be alone, and everything inside you is on fire, telling you to give up, and you have these like memories of like, no, I stuck to it, right? You know what I mean? Like Dragon, you train regularly all the time, and you always talk about your mentality to train your body, to put yourself past that inner. And let's keep this a family show, but
Right.
yeah, the inner small you.
Right.
Right. So like,
Absolutely.
what do you tell yourself when you're pushing yourself?
I mean, I just know, like, basically what he just said. I know the outcome on the other side. I know it's going to be rewarding every time.
Yeah.
And, and that's the drive. That's the drive. You recognize that there's always going to be an inner part of you that's going to fight against that, like that flight response. Like, naturally that we just want to, take the easy road, to skip the training, to go back to bed, to get the more sleep, to that warm blanket.
Yeah.
We all gravitate to that. It's harder to get up, take a
Yes.
cold shower, jump into the training, whatever, right? So, but that at the end, the feeling is like nothing else. You accomplish something, and that, once you get into that, drives you. And I think anything's like a muscle. You build a muscle, and you build, those habits that push you like that. You think like that,
Mike Tyson said something that I really got to heart. Discipline is about doing what you hate, but doing like you love it.
Yeah.
So that's discipline.
I've never heard that before.
Mike Tyson said that, and
Discipline is doing what what you hate, but doing it like you love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really good.
Because
Yeah.
that's when you have consistency. It doesn't matter my feelings. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling
Yeah.
right now.
I love the
gotta
honesty.
do
I
it.
love the honesty of that statement because
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean if you like it. You don't gauge on if you like it or not.
Yes.
Right?
Because
That's awesome.
you gotta do what you gotta do, right? As Steve Somerville always says, like you gotta do what you gotta do. So when you let your emotions take over, you will probably not do a lot of things because
Yeah.
I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm
Yeah.
anxious, I'm this, I'm that. We tend to seek for comfortable places,
Yeah.
right? But if you have that consistency of I have to do this so I can achieve that goal, your emotions don't matter. Like you will do it because you have to do it in
Yeah.
order to be at that place. So
Yep.
that's the mentality that Dragon is talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then you never regret it, right?
No.
Yeah. When you take the easy road, the cushy road, the comfortable path, and you just kind of fold your hands, and you regret those moments.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know.
Yeah,
you
you
know what you
know.
could have done and what you cowered away from.
Yeah, even if people around you aren't even pushing you, they're like, "Oh, it's good you didn't go, Drag. It's better
Yeah.
just stay here. It's raining outside." And just
Yeah.
come on, you know, you
Your
don't.
shoulder's kind of wonky.
You know
and,
though,
this,
right?
all
I
that.
know.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
low blow. He knows
Yeah.
about my shoulder.
No, I
That's
was actually
good.
referring to myself, but
It's funny though. I'll say
Yeah.
this, man. My shoulder. I don't know what's up with it, and it put me on the shelf a bit. Yesterday, I just said, "Screw this. I can't be stagnant because of my shoulder." So I
Right.
just started moving yesterday. Okay. I heard something recently that said that do not tell yourself to work out for like a series, like a set time. Just start. For anybody, again, especially for someone who's getting used to adding it to their lifestyle, don't say I'm going to work out 5 minutes, 15 minutes, like nothing. Just literally just start moving. Even further than that, I once heard before that you have a 90% chance of working out if you just change into workout clothes.
That's true.
So just
makes
knowing,
sense,
right? Like,
yeah.
if we have these lofty ideas that we got to be like, Stallone and all these different things. Because, no, just start.
Yeah.
Put on your workout clothes, and then guess what? You might go on that walk. You're gonna lift that dumbbell. Isn't that interesting? Just putting the clothes on, it's a costume until it becomes like your athletic gear. So I just started moving yesterday, and man, my shoulder, like, it was speaking, but I just was like careful around it and got other areas warm. And then now, like, my base of where my body was changed now. It was like 2 floors higher.
Right.
And I felt like warmer, and then I felt like
Better,
my
yeah.
mobility was better. And then I took like a bar and started to stretch it back a bit. And then by the time I was done, I was almost doing like regular movement, knowing just to be careful of the weight. But my body is like, it got past it, and I'm better. So now I'm not at just this. If I just stop moving, you're gonna get worse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So I had a
Absolutely.
breakthrough last night. Okay.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
And I
That's
just
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah.
That's the mindset. right?
Congrats, Mike.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
A round of applause for
thanks,
Mike.
guys. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm patting myself on the back too. No, but it's those little little things, right? That just make you think. Just get past it, right?
Absolutely.
Find a way past.
For sure, man.
Yeah. Okay. So
100% agree.
Brazil life. You don't have to go into the details,
Mhm.
okay? But it's been a long road.
Yes, definitely.
Let me ask first, so we know some of the why. A safer life, man. Dude, I'm taking it to heart. You left Brazil and your family and your home country, so that you can have maybe a little bit more of a regular life, because so things like safety, right? So that for your wife and your family and growing family, that you can actually have something that seems like a normal life. I want to say something to that. If you live in North America, there's parts of the world where it is safe, and we have good people that keep it safe. Don't take it for granted, right? I think about that all the time. I tell my kids that all the time if they complain about something, about something they're eating. There's a kid who gets maybe a meal a day, right? And it just has to wait until late night for someone to bring it to them, and they've always lived hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so here it's safe. Here we definitely take it for granted. What was it though that, like, what else did you have to like sacrifice in order to push past? You have a motivation now. The motivation is to leave Brazil, make a new life in Canada. Give us an idea. Like, was it a walk in the park? Was it easy? Was there like an app that you downloaded and it kind of
No.
took care of everything?
Definitely not. So when we came, we had a plan in place. Okay, we will go to Canada. Everything's gonna work out well, and in 2-3 years we should be permanent residents, right? For our surprise, when we got in here, things didn't work out at all as we planned. So everything went pretty much down the hills, to be honest. We had to reshape the whole immigration plan. Also professionally, things not happening, and we were trying. So it was, we were in a point that we had to make a decision. After 2 years here, we had to make a decision, and we had a conversation. Okay, are we staying or not? Because here's the thing: my wife in Brazil, she got a license from the firefighters in Brazil. She did have the option to go back, and just straight back to the firefighters. It's like this license in Brazil is like you have a pause in your career, but you can go back after 2 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we had that. We had that safety in Brazil, that safe place to go. But we were like, okay, we came, and I'm not the kind of guy that likes to give up. Like, if I have something to do, it only ends when I get it.
That's called determination. Okay.
Thank you. You know, I was determined to accomplish what I came looking for. And we had a very deep and long conversation. We decided to stay. But after that, the problem was our visas could not be renewed for a while. So we had to stay. We renewed the visas, but we had to stay kind of pushing and renewing the visa every couple of months to be able to stay and work and, you know, try again and again. So after that period, we were here for pretty much 4.5 years, and nothing happened. Okay, nothing happened. The plan was 2 years, and of course, my wife had to leave the firefighters for good. So now we don't have a safe port to go back, professionally speaking. So we finally kind of established a plan again. We were able to overcome those difficult moments and the whole visa situation. We stopped like pushing every couple of months, and we finally got a long-term visa to continue working as we were before. And then I came to Sentinel. That's literally when I came to Sentinel.
How did you find the company?
I actually got in touch with Reina first.
Hey, shout out to Reina.
Reina is amazing.
If you don't know her, she doesn't know you. Right?
Reina helped me a lot throughout my journey in the company. But I was inquiring about the close protection workshop the company have. And then she replied to me saying, asking if I had experience in security. I told her my experience, and then she pretty much arranged an interview for me. But I was about to renew my visa again, so I couldn't start working. So that was around July. I did the interview anyways, and I told Chris, I believe, was the HR at that time, and they told me, okay, you're good. We want to hire you. Let us know when the whole situation is solved. So by November, I finally got my long-term work permit, and I started in the company there. And then after that, everything worked a little easier. However, we had that snowball from the previous years that were coming along with us, with a lot of problems and issues to solve. Documentation, and colleges are very expensive for international students. All those things to pay. So a lot of things that came with those attempts of solving the situation, I had to solve in the next 2 years that I was in the company. So
they came at a high price. There's a price to pay for all that.
Totally. You know, it's hard to explain. I don't want to get into like immigration processes, details. It's very. We had a person helping us, a professional helping us with that. So that's why we were able to stay and continue working, and you know, having a chance to fix everything and to get the permanent resident. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, it's very, very demanding, you know, and expensive too.
Yeah, both. I mean, look, I applaud both you and your wife's tenacity to stay determined, to have your goal.
Thanks.
I mean, it is easy to just back off. Take your foot off the pedal and just be like, you know what?
Way easier.
Yeah, there's always loving family back home that's just, come here, you can live here, we can do this. Like, I know you knew you had those options, right? You know, if you needed. to me, it's amazing when you just keep pushing through. You know, there's something about that because again, it's so easy to abort the plan.
It's like Dragon said, like you know the feeling when you accomplish something. And I knew that feeling before. I had that feeling before. And that is nothing greater than that. When you finally said, okay, I got it. I'm here now. It was worth it, right? So when you have that feeling, like when you taste that, you want to taste that again. And that kind of drives you.
And you know what it takes. You know
Exactly.
the journey you've been through to taste that, right? Yeah.
And hard work works.
Yeah.
If you continue going, you know,
Yes.
if you continue pushing, like things will happen.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an honest person, a good person, trying to do your thing, trying to live your life in an honest and good way, things will happen.
You have to
know?
believe that good things will happen.
You have to. Nobody else will do that for you.
Yeah.
It's you, right?
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In your time here, the 2+ years with us, what's maybe one of the biggest things you learned about the work, what it takes to get the work done here, or maybe even better, what's something you learned about yourself, you know, that good and bad, you know, because there's what I loved about that Tyson quote is you have to be honest with, you know, with the endeavor in front of you. Discipline means I might hate this, but I'm gonna love that and I'm gonna treat it that way. So what'd you learn about yourself through these difficulties?
What I learned about myself is that that is always a solution for each problem, right? And I learned that I actually learned that I'm very like my father in that sense. Like, to be honest, my father, he's 65 and he's still a businessman, thinking about new things and creating new things and opening new things and succeeding in whatever he does, like pushing, and he never gives up. So when I was here going through all those things, I actually thought a lot about that. Say, if I can say anything that I learned from him, that's one thing, like to be resilient, like to just keep going.
It's amazing.
You know, that is always a solution. He always says, life will be hard. That's not a choice. Life will be hard. Problems will solve. But we have always two choices. You can sit and cry, or you can get up and do something about it. Always do something about it.
Yeah.
You know. And
That's so good, right?
Yeah.
It's so simple, but just like
Simple
man.
is always the
Yeah.
best, man.
Yeah.
But you know, it's easy to say, but I actually see him doing it, and that's we
It
always
was an
say
example to you over the years.
exactly.
Right?
We always talk about lead by example, right? And he actually does that. So every time I was going through a hard moment here, or even like learning the job, as you said, I thought about that. So okay, my father doesn't stop, so I can't stop. I gotta keep moving. I gotta keep going, right? So that was one thing that I learned a lot about myself. I always find a solution. That is always a way out, you know.
Yeah.
But about the company, it's not the company, but the job itself is the way security is done by the company. Like the way we do security at Sentinel is different. Like you always says that actually we are customer service, and sometimes we act like security because we conquer people by the way we are, like the way we interact with the clients, the guests, or you know, even in the way we de-escalate situations. It's just so smooth and with so much empathy, and that's definitely something I learned in here that I didn't train ever before. Okay, all those 500 hours of training, the experiences in every shift with every manager, that's something that I'll take forever with me. Like the way we approach each situation is just something that I haven't seen before.
It's pretty. Oh man, it's amazing to hear from you again. Like, although we're in the middle of it every week.
For sure.
The way you said it, it's almost like you shed light on it to even understand that there's something special, even more than we considered.
And coming from a guy like Bruno, who's had so much different type of training and has been exposed to all these, you know, for you to say that really means a lot, man. It you know, it sheds light on what we do here.
But it's true, man.
Yeah.
And the company does that because that's part of the core of the company. It's not something that you guys are trying hard to do it. It's just something that is part of the way the company is.
Right.
You know, and that reflects in the employees, right, and the people on the floor.
Yeah, I get, the 500 hours that Bruno's talking about is when when the company almost died when the pandemic happened. Okay, 2 years ago, and we moved into healthcare. There was a time where we didn't have any client, and we have dozens of staff, and essentially, the company made the sacrifice to keep paying people, right? And just everyone. I mean, maybe not everyone even knows that kind of what happened, but there was no money coming in to pay all the staff, just so that people would have some livelihood, and so that they would kind of stick around. The company paid everyone's salary to pay them.
And the company did just what Bruno was saying too. It was resilient and tenacious, and just kept on pushing forward.
Giving up wasn't an option.
Yeah.
There was no way, because it affected like dozens of families and people, and so we ended up having 500 hours. I remember the day that we added it up, and it was literally like 2.5 months of just straight training until we finally got the client that you guys could pour the training into.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make business sense. Okay, it's like, again, I say that we may not ever repeat that again, because it was just that time. And this is where we stumbled on that word empathy, because where we were pivoting was into healthcare, and we embraced what it meant to like really do security at another level, a deeper level, a human to human level, versus, thinking that you're some authority in getting people to get compliance versus being a human.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what was that like for you? Because, I mean, what a stark contrast to your like high level, high stake, highly dangerous training and military experience in Brazil, not just living there, but like working there.
Yes.
To say that you were policing the favelas and some like, these are some, that's a minefield of danger. Okay, if you don't know that, just look them up. And that's why I kind of ask. Some people just don't know what that means. They don't have context. And then you come to Toronto, and you're part of this type of training and empathy. And like, what was that like for you to embrace that?
That was a training that I never had. Okay, back in Brazil, I trained everything but communication, but talking to people. When I came to the company and we did all those trainings since the beginning, but that period specifically, we emphasized a lot in those things because we didn't have the clients, pandemic and everything. So that was when we kind of bring that to another level. That was something that I've never seen before, because my mission was to go somewhere, do what we had to do, and come back, not to talk with people. But here, like learning how to communicate, how very simple things like calling the person by their name can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
The language you use or the way you approach, even like your gestures and the way you present yourself.
Offering your name.
Offering your
just
name.
Saying, hi, I'm Michael. I'm here to help.
Exactly. So all those things,
very powerful, right?
Very powerful, and they brought me a whole different perspective on how to do policing, not only security, but policing. Like how we can de-escalate situations and not having to touch anybody, arrest anybody. Like it's possible,
Yeah.
And we
especially think about from your background.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That is actually. I will not give you into details because I don't know if I can. But at some point in my application, I was asked how I prepared myself to policing here, since here is very different from Brazil. And my answer was that, like through Sentinel, through the training we had, and explain the training, explain what we did, what we do in the hospital and everything. So that prepared me to the context of policing here and changed the way I perceive policing here. And it was definitely something impactful for me in my professional life, personal life too, but professional life is something totally different from everything I've done before.
Yeah, we want to credit to, I mean, it popped up on the TV behind you, Stay Safe, instructional program. We just want to shout out Mr. Steve Somerville, because, this isn't something that we kind of came up on our own. Look, we all had our good sense on what it took to do security well. His experience and what he saw when it actually goes wrong for security professionals as well as police. Steve knows directly how even a cop can end up in prison, thinking with good intention they were doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy, right? It just gives you an idea of like, no one is exempt from that. You have to walk wise. You have to make smart decisions. you know, especially in difficult situations. Okay, so you now have this training. You start to implement it working in healthcare. I mean, you were involved in tons of incidents. You can work in, you know, in that setting, mental health patients, and just, you know, there's loss with families and the stress, and people can't see their loved one because it's a pandemic and they're not even allowed in the building, and like all of that now. What do you think that gave you? The training here. So you have Brazil military, you have Sentinel high end, and then it ends with empathy. You know, it's kind of really funny, right? Like entitled circles for the most part, and then empathetic out of necessity in healthcare. What do you have now that you feel going into policing? Because you're starting your police cadet training soon. What do you believe that this as a whole now, the experience here at Sentinel, what is it giving you going into that?
I do believe that gives me an expertise that just completes my experience. I have the hard skills, and now the soft skills are also like so sharp and so well built, thanks to the company. But don't get me wrong, we still have to learn, we still have things to do. But like, just seeing that other side, I feel way more comfortable going to the streets now, hopefully soon, to do policing here, because I understand how it is to approach a person in crisis and talk to them and talk them down and
versus
them.
take them down, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and just actually helping them and doing what I believe policing is actually helping people, you know, helping them even having a better life, because one encounter they have with police will determine if they will like police or not, if they will support law enforcement or not. You know, that experience, bad or good, will be branded in that person's mind forever. So you have to do your job. Yes, you must do your job lawfully, but you can't do it in a better way. You can do it in a way that the person will understand, okay, that police officer, he did his job, but he did it as a human. He treated me with dignity, respect. And that's something you don't see everywhere. So I do believe that the training I had in here and everything that I did in the company and the experiences will prepare me to deliver to that level.
It's amazing,
hopefully.
man.
It's so great,
But
man. I can relate to even myself, like when I was exposed to Stay Safe, for example. You know, I think like even the perspective of even just the way you look at the job has shifted and changed. You know, the way you look at people. I always go back to the saying that Steve used to always use, you know, duty of care. Duty of care.
Yes.
You view people as to help, you know, to service, to, you know. So I think that was a major shift, the way we even approach the work. So yeah, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
This is what we take from
Yeah.
it.
I think on that, that's a great way to end, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate those words and you sharing that insight. And like, I 100% agree with you that there is a better way to do policing. And I think you come in with like a really strong left leg of military and a really strong right leg of private security, done in the best type of way, so that you can now serve and protect in police. And I think, man, I think they have a gem in you, okay? And they're going to see
I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah, they've told us, they've kind of let us know how happy they are that you're joining their team. And
I appreciate it.
yeah, and I just, man, keep it close. I just don't be a stranger, you know. And I just, I hope we see you often. However, you
We'll
know.
be here training jiu-jitsu. You
That's
guys gotta
Yeah.
join us on the mat.
Yeah, no, we should actually let we're gonna release some info about that. So with Armour Protection, Bruno and Lucio, our good brother, they're gonna be releasing some work. It's gonna be basically jiu-jitsu, but also some real life scenarios, and there's some cool things that we're kind of cooking up, so that if you work in this industry, this is advantageous for police as well.
Yes.
That if you have in your livelihood have to work safe, and that might mean that you have to be physical as much as you de-escalate. There's a line that maybe the other person crosses. They turn it physical. It becomes assaultive quickly. You can't just be there smiling. You got to be able to work safe, right? And I think we're going to be offering some workshops as well as some ongoing training. Yeah. So take a look.
Yeah.
We'll put a website up and all that stuff. I think.
So
Yeah, it's going to be good.
amazing.
Yeah.
it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Look, man, I just want to say to you, I mean, we'll have some time to hug it out, whatever, after, whatever. But, man, like, so proud of you, bro. Okay.
I appreciate
And
it, guys.
yeah, and if one thing that we can say, we don't know every detail. We know that you just didn't give up. You just kept going and you kept going. I only learned of like how difficult it was only a couple of months ago, and I know some really, really, really strong people. They would not have been able to endure, of all of the kind of obstacles that you had to face. At some point, it would have people around them would have just applauded them for making the easier decision, because it's right. It's logical, man. It's okay. You know, just come back and like, you didn't give up, man. You kept pushing. So just keep that. Don't let that fire die. And I look forward to seeing kind of decade over decade. I believe that you're going to do some really cool things, and your kind of full international experience, some moderate experience with us here, as well as your policing. That there's something within that nucleus of those three entities that you're gonna speak to some of that stuff. And as I said to you when you were here letting us know, keep that ambition, dude. Okay, like don't be shy, don't swallow it, and just observe. The world needs good people to say difficult things sometimes, and to speak up and say like, look, I think there's a better way, or like, and it's okay to challenge something if the heart behind it is to make it better, right? And you're always gonna get adversity. I'm telling you, when you go into policing, you're gonna find there's, they say there's the dinosaurs, there's that red tape, there's that bureaucracy, and like, it's gonna feel tough. Just don't give up, man. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Because when you're junior one decade, the next decade you're going to be considered senior, and you're going to be someone that they're asking, okay, what do you think we should do next? And don't forget that, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's as you go through that path, and you might be the first to kind of break through that path. You might just be opening the door for the next group of people, right? Tupac said, he goes, I may not change the world, but I'm going to spark the mind that does. Okay. Right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's gangster, and that's
good advice.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely. No, and we couldn't be more proud of you, Bruno. And I know you and I worked closely together, and I know some parts of your journey. I know how difficult it was for you, but interesting, man, like that backbone and the father always in the back of your mind, and what he instilled and taught you. And just when you were saying your story, it just kind of reminded me. I always feel like I'm in my best when I'm doing bad. Where my back's against the wall. I feel like the best part of me comes out there, for survival. Yeah. So even the fact that, you went through a few years and there was no safety net back home and the firefighting thing was gone, maybe that's exactly what needed to happen to propel to the next step, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when you have nothing to lose,
push, right?
When you got nothing to lose, failure's not an option anymore. I just got to keep moving forward, man. So,
yeah,
it's an amazing story, and we're so proud of you, man. And, we all feel like we achieve, and it's success for all of us when something like this happens, And
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man.
I really do. And I told you guys this off cameras, but I want to emphasize here, like I cannot express enough how much the company helped with that. And, I'm glad that I'm here with you too, because my first shift in the company was with you too.
Yeah,
and
it's funny like that, huh?
Full circle here. So
serendipitous,
I
man.
really
Perfect.
appreciate for everything.
Yeah,
That's
again,
awesome,
and it's not goodbye. It's see you later.
Yeah. Just see you later.
No, man, amazing, and man, it's just gonna be so awesome just to kind of see what's ahead of you, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just keep
Thanks,
pushing
guys.
it. Again, don't be conservative. Keep pushing. Okay, if there's one thing, don't be conservative like most Canadians, where we just kind of fold our hands and
That's not Bruno.
push the envelope, man. We need it. There's some amazing things I think that's gonna come from all the things that you've been through. It needs to be for a reason, right? And it's not being on the sideline. It's really just keep setting a tone. Keep saying like, we can do better. We can do better. There must be better. That like you've always pursued that a life of training. You're always pursuing that perfection, knowing you'll never get it.
True.
Right.
But that is always something you can learn.
Yeah, always, always.
That if you wake up every day thinking, how can I do better today than I did yesterday, then you are always progressing somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I like that idea of always searching for something new, a new challenge.
Yeah.
Even though I'm gonna, we are saying that it's an accomplishment for me to be going to policing here, but now the challenge starts. Like
I know.
starting
Yeah.
there, and now it's a new challenge there. So
Yeah.
I hope I can deliver well enough. Do well enough.
It's a good place to be. We talk about it all the time. Just to get nervous.
Yeah.
Live in a nervous state, because it means that you're treading into the unknown. There's an aspect of it where just you're not on autopilot.
Yeah.
it's no way to live, man. So yeah, keep doing that. Find what the next thing and the next thing and the next thing is, and we're gonna be figuring out how to make office life at Sentinel even better and better and better. You know what I mean? We're gonna get nervous, right?
We get our own comfort circle.
Yeah. I'm going French vanilla at the coffee machine. Joking. All right, man. All the best, bro.
Yeah,
we'll be
thanks,
praying,
man.
thinking about you, and again, don't be a stranger. Yeah.
I won't. I'll
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, if you meet some good pure police that need some training, bring them over. Okay. Okay. All the best, dude.
Thanks.
Peace. Thanks for listening, everyone.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.